At this time, I'd like to officially call the meeting to order. I'd like to introduce your board of directors. From District 1, Randy Christian, Secretary Scranton, Paul Heineman, Ogden, and Kim Rinker, Treasurer, Ogden. From District 2, Ames, Jim Burial, Bill Harleen, Madrid, and Doug Roby, Ames. From District 3, Joel Scow, Assistant Secretary and Assistant Treasurer, Wesley. Myself, Vice President Laverne. And from District 4, Tom Ingebrigtsen, Hubbard. Paul Skartweet, Radcliffe. And Jim Vierkant, Alden. Now, please join me in welcoming Board President and District 3 Director Mike Coleman, who will conduct this evening's business meeting.
Thank you, Rick. Good evening, and thank you all for joining us today for our 32nd annual meeting. I'd like to start by welcoming all our members who are attending in person or joining us online via our Facebook page. At the end of the meeting, we will welcome member questions. For those watching online, please place your questions in the comments and we will read and respond to those at the end of the meeting. As you entered today, you should have received a copy of your 2023 annual report containing the co-op's financial meeting minutes from last year, which can be found on page 8. For those viewing online, the annual report can be found on our webpage at midlandpower.coop/annual meeting. Unless I hear any additions or corrections, the minutes and annual report financials will stand approved as presented. I now would like to introduce Attorney Haley Van Loon from the firm of Brown Wimett to give us a brief overview of our election process. Haley?
Thank you, Mike, and good evening, everyone. As many of you know, Midland Power Cooperative circulated ballots among its membership earlier this month. This morning, I met with a group of volunteer tellers who divided those mailed-in ballots among districts and tabulated votes for our board of director and nominating committee positions. The nominating committee is a group put together drawn from the membership of the cooperative, who are member selected and who meet each year to advance candidates for the board of directors. At this time, I'd like to recognize this year's nominating committee members. From District 1, James Moore, Aaron McLeod, Heather Putri. From District 2, Dave Jamison, William Higgins, and Mark Speck. From District 3, Nick Bowden, Dean Kruger, Lisa Rodert. And from District 4, Mike Brower, Dwayne Kruckenberg, and Charlie Gilbert. At this time, I'd like to make a final call for any ballots. If you have a ballot that you have not yet cast, please raise your hand. One right there. All right, thank you. Mike.
Thank you, Haley. As often the case, this past year was marked by both difficult challenges and tremendous opportunities. From continuing to cope with high inflation to dealing with the unexpected loss of a warehouse facility. The challenges faced in 2023 highlighted both our employees' perseverance and our members' cooperative spirit. As you'll see in a moment, Midland also made great strides last year to ensure reliable service for our members. Through our ongoing efforts to strengthen our distribution system, we were able to significantly reduce both the numbers of outages and overall outage duration. These improvements are due to part of our fantastic line workers, several who are in attendance tonight. Please join me in thanking them for their fierce determination and unwavering dedication to our members and keeping the lights on. This year's annual meeting theme is Powered by Purpose. I am proud to report that the Cooperative remains committed to the same principles, the same guiding purpose as envisioned by the Co-op's founding members nearly 90 years ago. What was true in the late 1930s and early 1940s remains true today. Having reliable and affordable electricity helps improve lives and power economic growth. As we've done since the beginning, we will continue to work tirelessly to deliver the critical electric service that you all depend on. Now please sit back and enjoy this annual report video.
Last year, Midland Power continued our ongoing efforts to increase system reliability across our service area.
Today we're out at the Stratford substation in Stratford, Iowa. We came out to the sub today to look at the progress of the new construction for the substation. An outpost team is here today putting the finishing touches on groundwork and installing some switches on the underground circuits coming out of the substation. The original substation was older, and so we chose for reliability to replace the substation, and also because of SIPCO, our transmission provider, upgrading to the 69 kV. The benefit for the member by increasing substation capacity increases reliability and allows load growth for the membership cooperative. So at Stratford and our other Midland-owned substations, we're installing SCADA over the next 5 years. SCADA is a supervisory control and data acquisition program that will allow Midland to remotely monitor and control substation equipment. So it'll have a significant impact on reliability, and also if there is an outage, it will reduce outage time. So in our engineering department, we have a model of Midland's system, and we do an analysis of each section of line, and we take a look at a couple of parameters, and based on those parameters, that is how we decide which sections of line to upgrade each year. Last year's, we rebuilt over 30 miles of line across the Midland system. In 2023, we rebuilt Berkeley substation. It was a partial rebuild. We did the 69 conversion, a new high side, a new transformer, and new voltage regulators. At Ridgeport, we built a new substation next to the existing substation, did the 69K conversion, and increased the capacity for the increased reliability and also anticipate load growth in that area. In 2023, we saw a 16% decrease in the number of outages that each member experienced, and we saw a 45% decrease in the duration of each outage, and that was due to vegetation management and also the improvements that we're making on the line rebuilds and the substation rebuilds.
Reliability means more than just keeping the lights on. It also means ensuring the safety of our employees and members.
Well, safety is a fundamental value of the co-op, and delivering reliable and affordable power starts with safety and making sure each of our crews goes home just like they started today. But also, as you invest in safety and you don't incur injuries and things like that, that actually lowers your insurance costs. So there is a cost component to it, but really for us, it's about caring for our team members. And I'm so proud of our team members. We actually finished up 2023 with over 50,000 hours without a lost time accident. And that just goes to our people's commitment to safety, caring for one another, and the culture we're building here. But also, I think safety goes beyond just internally. Yeah, we care about our employees, and I want every one of my team members to go home at night safe and just as they came that day. But also, our safety extends to our members and the communities at large. We do safety training in school systems. We do safety training at community events, county fairs, to spread that message about how to be safe around electricity, how to use it wisely, use it correctly, because it is a tremendous tool to make our lives better, but we need to use it safely. And so that's why we make an investment in safety, because it's about the people. Again, it's about our members, it's about our employees, it's about the people, and safety drives to caring for people.
Every day we want our members to be safe and our employees. So each day we want our employee to be come home at the end of the night and be safe. And it's a culture at Midland. It's not something we take lightly. Have our own training yard, take people out, do different training exercises, making sure they're safe on that. And at Midland, you could be the first day on the job, and if you don't feel safe, you can push the stop button, and the whole crew shuts down, and then they talk about, maybe they don't understand why we're doing what we're doing, or maybe there is something that we don't know about. But we're always looking for new things in safety, and we're leading edge on that.
In 2023, we also focused on affordability, engaging with local and national political candidates, as well as our elected officials about the importance of an all-of-the-above energy strategy.
Well, I think first of all, Iowa has a unique position, and because of our caucus position, we have the opportunity to engage with presidential candidates. And for a rural state, that's just a tremendous opportunity to share what the issues are that impact the heartland, what impact rural Iowa. And to take advantage of that, I think is just really a good community service and good act to share what's important, what is going to help make rural Iowa and the lives of our members better.
Well, maybe it's because I'm from Indiana, which is an awful lot like Iowa, that I understand the role that rural electrical co-ops play, not only providing energy, but really making the kind of investments and catalyzing the kind of planning that creates jobs and opportunities. Our local co-ops are owned by the people in the community, and so it stands to reason they would be the great champions of economic development that they are.
When you get that chance to have a question where he calls on you and you can ask him one, that's something where it's pretty rare that you have a presidential candidate in front of you that's running, that you actually get the floor to ask him a question for the membership.
We've got to be able to have the right balance of that. The biofuels, the renewable fuels, everything that you're doing here with ethanol, being a part of even the typical fossil fuels, it's got to work together. It's an absolute requirement that you do them in a proper way. So we need to have everything that's working in America work. We have to have coal, we have to have wind, we have to have renewable fuels. We have to have all of it as far as our grand equation of what really makes America run. There's no one solution for American energy. It's going to take a combination of it all. I would love to see nuclear energy being developed more in the future, clean energy happen more. And as we continue to progress in all these things, I believe we'll lead the world that way.
We as a co-op are responsible for not only supplying energy to our members, but to get our information out to legislators, because a lot of what we do is also related to making sure that we are following rules, regulations. And by meeting with our legislators, we have an opportunity to talk about that and explain where we are at and what kind of things we need from them. These are apolitical issues that are not geared towards Democrat, Republican, or any other party.
Along with opportunities, last year also brought unique challenges.
Each year, you run into challenges you don't necessarily expect. Several years ago, we ran into COVID, and I never had training on how to manage an organization through a pandemic. This year, unfortunately, we had one of our warehouse facilities catch on fire, and it was a total loss.
One of those deals where got a call from Bill, and the warehouse was on fire last fall. Just got it finished. We were in full use of using it, and tragically it lit on fire. The good thing is, back to safety, is no one was hurt. I mean, that was my first question to Bill: is everyone out okay? And we were. So, I mean, things get replaced. Wasn't ideal. Still working through some of that.
The neat thing about that is just to see the folks around here rally and how do we address and cover for losing that storage space. But also I think it shows one of the advantages of Midland Power and the fact that we are a little bit bigger co-op in the state. We do have facilities across 17 counties. We have the facilities in Iowa Falls and Jefferson and Boone and Humboldt. And that allows us, we did have material at each of those sites, so it allows us to cover those bases.
When you receive the phone call that the building's on fire, and then they make the call to the fire department in Boone and Ogden, and they show up and, fight that battle. It was a hot fire, and, just appreciate, everybody that supported us in that, because without them, we'd be in trouble.
In addition to recognizing our local first responders, we also honored our cooperative military veterans for their courage and sacrifice with a special tribute flight.
I was 21 or 22 years old. I got drafted in 1968, went through basic training, went through advanced infantry training in Fort Polk, Louisiana, because everybody knew that's where we were going to Vietnam. We were going to be in the infantry. And I was trained as a mortarman, but I never saw a mortar once I got to Nam. When I got there, they needed a machine gunner. I don't remember the picture even being taken, but that definitely was at a base camp. I probably put on guard duty at the time or something like that.
I was 23 when I joined the Army. Some of my friends had joined right out of high school, but I always been really excited or wanted to become a helicopter pilot, but my eyes weren't good enough. What I did in the military was I worked on helicopters. I was a helicopter mechanic, and specifically I worked on the rotor systems of the helicopters.
Most memorable thing that I can pulled from my time in service is just respect for chain of command and doing what you're told. I think that was taken at basic training probably within the first couple of weeks I was there. And I was my first 2 weeks of basic training, I was still 17 years old. So yeah, I look back at that and I don't recognize the photo. If I didn't know that was me, I would not guess that.
I had a big advantage over many of these metropolitan kids because we could, we had a certain sense of survival out in the country anyway. And the work ethic of the Midwest farm kid versus somebody off the streets of New York. My company commander said, give me company of Midwest farm boys anytime over any other group, because he said they're not afraid to work and they'll fight.
On our Huey ride that we had, we all met up out at the Boone Airport, and because that's where the Huey landed after it was out here out at the office, so people could take a look at it. We went on a wonderful ride. Went out and flew out over the fields around Boone, went over by the Farm Progress area, went out as far as Highway 17, and then we turned around, and the pilots did just a super job of doing some nice banks. You felt like at times that you were looking straight down on the world because the helicopter was banked so much.
I had 41 combat assaults from the helicopters. And somebody took that picture and gave it to me at a later date. But we're waiting there to get on these choppers, and we have no idea where we're going, what we're going to find when we get there, or, like I said, if we're going to be alive yet that day. I mean, we were terrified. I've forgotten and tried to forget a lot of that.
I was fortunate enough to never have to be in a combat zone. But yeah, you do have a camaraderie with other people in the military, but I think, people like Tom, who were actually in combat, and other combat veterans have a very special, tight bond and are able to speak in a language that other people are unable to quite grasp or understand.
I just think that if you know of a veteran just basically thank them for their service. Most veterans are, very proud of their service, that they spent the time giving it to our country. And there's no better way than just to be told thank you.
Last year, we also said goodbye to a longtime director and a valued friend.
Jack was just a great advocate for safety and for training. He had that in his personal life with the fire service, and he brought that to the co-op, and I think that was a lot of value. He had just a common sense aspect that he brought to the business, and he really, really cared about the co-op, about rural Iowa, life in rural Iowa, what it's like to live in the heartland. Those things meant a lot to him.
Yeah, Jack always had a smile on his face. He would be in the boardroom and he could be talking about fire. Fire was another one of his passions, being on the fire department. And just his personality is always fun to be around. And just like I said, he just is, that smile, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
As a member-owned electric cooperative, we're committed to improving the quality of life in our communities by supporting local businesses, civic and nonprofit organizations, and local governments.
We are at the City of Gilmore City, here for a revolving loan closing for a new fire truck for their fire department. The City of Gilmore City has been fundraising for this fire truck, but when they found a good deal and a good opportunity, they needed to act quickly to secure that truck. We were able to come in and provide a loan with some terms that they could pay early on if their fundraising continues, give them the opportunity to close and to have that fire truck here by end of the year. Gilmore City connected with Corn Belt Power in connection with their revolving loan program. Corn Belt then in turn reached out to MIdland, and we wanted to be a part of that sponsorship. So together we partnered to provide 2 revolving loans worth $100,000 each.
We have 14 volunteers out of the Gilmore right now. 1 junior firefighter. Last year I think it was like about, once the drywall had all them cornfields and stock fires and stuff. I think we had like 40 or 50 calls last year, and I think we're up to, I think we had like 20 this year. Some tractor fires, combine fires. We've had a few practice burns. We burned off a couple houses in town. And like I say, if we get called for mutual aid, we'll go anywhere in the county where we get called for. Pumper trucks are usually good for like 25 years according to the ISO insurance company. And our main pumper was a 99, so we only had like about a year left with our insurance companies to help keep our rating down. So we're getting rid of a 1984. We upgraded to this 2024. Last new truck that Gilmore got was 1979.
If we can support them on the background with the financing, it helps their business operate, because right now, like I said, if you take a low interest loan versus say 8-9% if you go to the bank, I mean, that's huge dollars. That might be the difference between getting a new fire truck and not being able to. So if there's any way we can help out, we take the time and do it.
Just as our mission is to provide reliable, affordable electricity, ultimately for the purpose of enhancing the lives of our members, we're able to provide these revolving loans to enhance communities that we serve. Our revolving loan can really be the difference between a community project happening or not.
Supporting our communities also means giving back. Last year, we donated more than $50,000 to nonprofit organizations and charitable events. We also spent time volunteering during our annual employee service days. At the historic Camp Hanashaw in Boone, we cleared trees and brush along a cabin access road and helped prepare the grounds for one of their annual special events. At the Calkins Nature Area in Hardin County, employees worked to install a new floor and remove old siding from the center's Native American and Natural History Museum. They also cleared invasive honeysuckle along the prairie forest interface. We were also proud to award 3 $1,000 college scholarships to deserving area students, and send one very lucky student to Washington, D.C. to participate in the National Rural Electric Cooperative Youth Tour.
So I think if you go back over the last 2 or 3 years, 4 years, inflation has been as high as 7%. It's still running north of 3% many months and over the last couple of years. And we have had some rate increases, but they've been much smaller. They've been under 3%. They haven't been annual. There's been a year or so in between them recently. And so hopefully our cost mitigation efforts are paying dividends. Compared to co-ops nationally, our controllable expenses are about 42% less than co-ops nationally. So a big hands off to our team members here. And what's that lead to your question with regards to costs is Midland's average kilowatt hour cost is about 2 cents less than co-ops nationally, about a penny less than co-ops per kilowatt hour to co-ops here in the state of Iowa. So I think we're working hard at it. We're going to continue to work hard at it.
Another exciting part of Midland Power Co-op this year was that we were able to return $1.3 million back to our members.
Residential members continue to account for just over half of the cooperative's operating revenue of $52.7 million, while wholesale power costs of $35.5 million make up 67% of our total operating expenses. In March, we received a clean financial audit for the year.
As a cooperative, we're owned by the members that we serve. The people that do business with us own the co-op. So in the end, our purpose and our reason for existing is to make their lives better. And we do that here at Midland Power through the delivery of electricity, but it's all to make their lives better. So it's not just about energy to house, but it's to improve their lives through a warm house, through having electricity that powers their lives, a refrigerator, the technology in the homes today. And so we take that very, very seriously about making their lives better. It's not about making a profit, it's not about enriching a shareholder, but it's about coming to work every day and working hard to deliver the services and the products and the reliability in as affordable a way as we can to make the lives of our members better through the delivery of electricity.
As you can see, we had a full and eventful 2023. Now I'd like to invite Haley to rejoin us to present the election results. Haley?
Thanks, Mike. At this time, I'm going to announce the successful candidates for both the Board of Director positions and also the nominating committee positions. I'm going to start with District 1 and work to District 4. In District 1, the Board of Director candidate selected was Randy Christensen. Congratulations, Randy. The nominating committee members selected are Aaron McLeod, Anthony McDonald, and Tanner Lawton. In District 2, the successful Board of Director candidate is Jim Burial. Congratulations, Jim. And the nominating committee members selected are Dave Jamieson, Dennis Lynch, and Mark Speck. In District 3, the Board of Director candidate selected is Joel Scow. Congratulations, Joel. The nominating committee members are Dean Borman, Alan Maines, and John Nissen. In District 4, the Board of Director candidate selected is Francis Buckle. Congratulations, Francis. And the nominating committee members selected are Vern Hecker, Dwayne Kruckenberg, and Steve Schneemeyer.
Thank you, Haley. I'd like to congratulate all the candidates. We will now hold the prize drawings. As a reminder, only Midland Power members are eligible to win. Directors, employees, and their immediate families are not eligible. Members who attended our meeting appreciation dinners were automatically entered to win some great door prizes. Those winning names will be out in the coming days, will be announced on our social media channels and posted on our website. Children who attended the events were also encouraged to enter to win a bike. Those winners will be notified soon. We thank all the members who attended our appreciation events. We hope you had so much fun at them as we did. And I'd also like to thank the staff for putting it all together. It takes a lot to get these events out, and they did a tremendous job. We will now do the bill credit. We will draw 3 members from each district, with each receiving a $50 bill credit. The winners will be drawn from those members who submitted a ballot. As a reminder, members are not required to be present to win. We will notify the winning members and the credit will appear on a future bill. I'd like to ask Sharon Engelbritson to come up and draw some winners. Rick, you want to come up?
District what?
That's District 1.
The winners in District 1 are Greg Carey, Sheridan, Tanner Stauffer, Jefferson, and Paul Hellenschmidt, Boone.
District 2, Rick.
Winners in District 2, Robert Flynn, Boone, Jeffrey Hansel, Boone, and Stephen Wilson, Boone.
Can't have that one. That was Rick's. Rick can't win.
District 3, Taylor Peterson, Livermore, Rob Hughes, Humboldt, Cliff Kuhn, Humboldt. And finally, District 4, Paul Zosky, Iowa Falls, William Henderson, Story City, and Terry Windicker, Iowa Falls.
Thank you, Rick and Sharon. At this time, we would entertain member questions concerning the operations of your co-op. Are there any questions either here or in line or on person? Yes? Can you, you got a microphone? State your name and the district you're from, please.
Byron from the local district, and they've taken a couple of substations down within maybe 4 miles, less than that, air miles, and another one was dismantled somewhat. So I was wondering how they're doing it.
Yeah, Bill, why don't you come answer that one, I guess.
So we're in the process. One of the neat things about the co-op is we're constantly investing and trying to make the system more reliable. And so on a transmission grid process, the transmission grid is in the process of being upgraded from 34.5 transmission to 69, which is more reliable, it's better cable, but also expands the capacity so we can serve more. So as part of that, we're having to rebuild our substations and upgrade the equipment in those substations so it can accommodate that transition from 34.5 to 69. So it's new transformers, regulators and breakers and all the things in the substation. So that's why we're doing that and going through that process. The neat thing, I'm blessed to have a great engineering staff. We're able to take those substations out of commission because we can feed from other directions. So we've created kind of a redundant system. And so that's why we can take those down, rebuild them, then we'll bring them back online. So it's part of the advancement. It takes some time, costs some money, but it's investing in the system to give you a reliable system. So good question.
Those substations were a lot closer. Those substations were a lot closer than the one we were fed from for years and years.
We're not moving any substations, so are you talking about other utilities have taken down some substations and transit? Yeah, some utilities in the area, they've transitioned from having, a lot of rural substations. They've taken some of those out of service and then concentrated into what they call super subs and had one big sub that serves a much bigger area. So our practice has been, we tend to have a little smaller substations, more spread out, more localized, but that also gives us the advantage of being able to backfeed from more directions. We're not as dependent on one resource. So there's differences in strategy. We've taken a little more diversified strategy to ours. It provides a little more flexibility as far as backfeeding and things like that. So good question.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? Knowing of no other business to come before this body, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you for all attending the meeting this evening. The board members, management, employees will be available after the meeting if any members have matters they wish to discuss. The board of directors organizational meeting will be held in a few minutes. Thanks again for coming.